You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast brought to you by focus-biz.com. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining into today's episode of Brainwork Framework. My name is Adam, and today I have Pat Miller. He is a TEDx speaker and syndicated radio host, also the founder of the Idea Collective small business community, a group of solopreneurs and scaling small business owners to get the resources and support they need to succeed. Learn more about that at smallbusinesscommunity.com. Hi, Pat. Thank you so much for joining our little podcast.
Adam, great to see you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kind of going back to you and I had met several years ago when I had started my insurance agency. And I believe it was around the time you started the Idea Collective, right?
Yeah, you were one of the first folks to get a hold of the message and be a part of what we were doing. It was June 1st of 2020 was when we launched the Idea Collective community. Now I can't believe it's going to be 4 years in like 6 months. Like it just seems like time is moving so quickly and the mission continues to grow, but time flies when you're having fun, right?
That's fair. Absolutely. I've personally met a lot of people through the Idea Collective and the community that you've created. And I still keep in touch with them. And I just, it's constant network of people who are smarter than me that I like to learn from as much as possible.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it's a great group of people for sure.
It is. So if you wouldn't mind, just kind of a little background, start by telling us a bit about yourself and the journey into the business world that you have.
Yeah, I started as a broadcaster, went to school to be a radio guy, moved all around the Midwest being a radio guy, building radio stations, hosting morning shows, hosting afternoon shows, building radio stations. And in 2018, maybe it was a midlife crisis, but I woke up one day and realized I'm building somebody else's dream. And if I don't go try and build something for myself, I'll just do what people told me to do the rest of my life. And I was around that time in my life, and I decided if I'm never going to take the risk, I got to do it now or else. Like this is the time, or I won't have enough time left to build something that's meaningful. Left the radio industry, started consulting small business owners. Then I started to lean on the skills I learned in the industry of bringing people together under a brand name that we called brand crafted events. We were doing live events all throughout Milwaukee. And then the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, my inner broadcaster came back out because when you're a broadcaster and the tornado's coming to the studio, you don't run to the basement, you run to the studio because you're a public servant. You're designed to protect and serve the public at large. So when it was coronavirus at the time, COVID was barreling down on the small business community, I was inspired to go on Zoom and start hosting a daily talk show that we called Small Business Rally Point. And we did a daily 1-hour talk show for everyone in the network. And the only agenda and mission was, we don't know what's going to happen, but if we stick together and we stay positive, we will make it. Our businesses will survive. And as people got together under that motivation, we did the show every single day for 90 days. At the end of 90 days, someone said to me, "You've built a community here." I didn't know what that even meant. So we did the research, then we set it up, and then the Idea Collective was then launched on June 1st, 2020.
Yeah. And that was one of those things because of the pandemic. Nobody in any industry really knew what was going to happen. You couldn't do office visits, phone calls were even, I mean, people didn't even want to, you had to wear a mask to make a phone call. It seemed at some point, people were just, the whole world was just kind of upside down for quite a bit there. And when I found the Idea Collective, it was such a breath of fresh air seeing other folks who were in a very similar situation as I was, where regardless of the situation in the world, I had a business I had to try and run. Like it's kind of weird to say that, like, yeah, the world's crumbling. There's a pandemic going on, but hey, I got to make money. It was kind of like a weird parallel there where it had to happen, and finding so many other people that were in this very same situation. It was inspiring and motivating as well to sort of have some accountability partners and stuff like that. And that was something that you built for sure. And I'm very thankful for that still, even to this day.
Well, I really appreciate that. That's the difference between community and network. We all have a business network, the people that we know that we can sell something to, or the people we can buy things from. But a community is when a group of people get together to solve a shared problem. And this whole project was born out of the shared problem of, we're small business owners. We eat what we kill. If we don't sell something, we are all going out of business. So it was that survival instinct. That's the basis. That's the backbone of the entire Idea Collective community. We're going to work together so we can all grow and survive. That's the difference between community and network. And that's why I think we're connecting with the people that join the community because they feel it's something different. Wait a minute, they're not trying to sell me things. Wait a minute, this isn't like a business card slapping environment. No, we really want to help people, and it's infectious and it's a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely. I think through the Idea Collective, the concept of not try not to see how many people you can meet, but how many people you can introduce to others. And that sort of mentality, it seems like one of those obvious things. You're just switching some words around, but when you really have put that in the forefront of the focus there, not to grow my network, but how can I help you grow yours? It just sort of organically you do grow your network because you're meeting friends, you're helping them, and when you help somebody, you become somebody that they can rely on and a pillar.
Yeah. And you're seen as a connector. And there's also the law of reciprocity. If I help you out, someday you're going to help me out. It's not required and no one's keeping score, but that kind of business environment is turning out to be a real powerful one for the folks that participate in the group for sure.
I have never met one person who's done any sort of the events or joined in on one of your talks that said, "Oh, that was a waste of time." It's never happened. It's never happened. And I don't expect it to, honestly, because even if it is one of those things where it is just growing the community, it's not buy something from me, let me buy something from you. It's just support, it's motivation, it's knowing that you're not in this whole thing alone, even though it certainly feels like that almost 100% of the time when you're a business owner. It's you just okay, it's on me now. What do I know, and how can I use that to make money, sort of thing. And then joining a group of people who also have that mindset, it's nothing but how did I word it the other day? It's like rolling a cotton ball through a pile of cornmeal or something. You just pick it all up. You just pick it all up, and it's just organically. So you talked about your history in radio and broadcasting, and you use that to help build this online community that you have through the Idea Collective. Now, from taking it as just a morning show and then moving it into the next step, where was your vision for that?
The vision is to solve the problem you were just alluding to. And it's a problem people don't talk about, but everyone knows they have. Running a small business is lonely and hard. And when you're out trying to build your own business, you know what you're good at. You're probably really good at one thing, but there's everything else we have to deliver as well. And here's the biggest secret. If your business fails outside of your household, zero people care. Maybe your lender will care, but nobody else really cares. So we're doing an incredibly high risk activity where half of the businesses will close within 5 years. We're taking on massive financial and personal risk to open these businesses, all to try and play a version of the American game that's incredibly rewarding if you can figure it out, but crushing if you lose. And no one cares if you win.
Yeah.
So that way, you're incredibly isolated doing things you don't know how to do, and you're really risking it all to see if you can make it happen. So where the community has gone is really kind of put our arms around all of those emotions. When people say it's a business group, you must do a bunch of training. Well, yeah, I mean, there is some training. And oh, it's the Idea Collective. It must be all about brainstorming. No, not really, although we do it. What it's really about is creating a space where people have the courage to be real
Mm.
and the directness and care for the others to give the feedback that someone may not want to hear. It's about experiencing or sharing experience and sharing feedback so people can get the answers to the tests that they need. Because this is a really risky game that we're all playing. And to go back to what you alluded to, it's very lonely. It's very lonely and nobody cares if we win.
Yeah, that's very true. It's been made evident just by the connections that I've made, the people I've been introduced to through the community. And one thing that you've been doing the last, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 years now, the Idea Collective retreat that I unfortunately have not been able to partake in, but the next one, I don't care if I have to sell a liver, I'm going. A kidney. I think you sell the kidney, not a
Kidney,
liver.
yeah, not a liver.
Whatever I don't need, whatever, take it. I'm going. So I have my own sort of curiosities about that, but if you wouldn't mind just chatting a little bit about what the retreat is and what the purpose is and what you guys all take away from it.
The big picture vision is to be available to every entrepreneur in the country through the backbone of the online system, our Idea Collective online community, to be available to anyone that has the courage to open a business. The annual conference and retreat is the chance to be the family reunion for everyone from everywhere to get together and business with one another. It is not unlike other business conferences where there are keynote speakers and workshops and networking and all that kind of stuff. But we do a few things differently, and you're going to pick a great year to come to the conference. So this is going to be year 4 this coming year. In year 1, our keynote speaker was Mel Robbins. In year 2, it was Mike Michalowicz. In year 3, it was Marcus Lemonis. In year 4, we're leaving Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and we're going to downtown Milwaukee. And
Oh,
we're going to blow it up big. So we're in the process of booking just jaw-dropping talent, and it's going to be at a beautiful venue downtown Milwaukee. It's going to be really exciting. And what's fun is because it's a conference that's on top of the community, you're going to meet someone that you've been communicating with online for the first time in person. The first night of the conference is great because you see people running across the lobby to hug one another. Oh my God, is that Adam? Oh my God, we've never met in person. Like it's this bonding effect and these relationships get built. So why are we doing it is exactly for that, to have people really cement those relationships that they make on Zoom and they make in the community. And we bring them together for this experience to really help them feel the support from others and remember that they're not growing it alone. That's what the whole conference is about.
yeah, and that's all that I really do seem to take away from it, from other people who have gone, the stories that they've shared and their social media posts. It just seems like a blast, no matter what's going on. Even like the keynote speakers, the workshops, those things that they can, and I've been in part of some that are just like I could probably be spending my time doing something else, you know. Like, I'm glad, like, yeah, I paid for this. I signed up for it. I was hoping to get something out of it, but whoa. But no, but it doesn't seem like that whatsoever. Everybody's laughing and smiling, and it seems like such a good time. And the few in-person idea collective things that I have been to have been just like that. It's been very rewarding meeting people that you've never met before, and just really solidifying those relationships that you built online. And I'm really looking forward to the next retreat, because and now it's not going to be so far away, so even better. Uh, although I'm going to miss out on Lake Geneva, so there we go.
That's
All
true.
right. It's like it's in Vegas every year, and then the one year I go, it's like, oh well,
Yeah.
we're going to do it in the backyard. It's all right.
Sorry.
It's
Have to
all
do
good.
Vegas some other time.
We'll do. Yeah, I mean, eventually, right? Eventually, it'll be big enough.
Mhm.
You'll have to do something like that, middle of
Oh,
the
yeah.
country, for everyone to come. That'll be great. As far as the people who are involved in the idea collective, are you finding that there is a heavier portion of one sort of industry, or is it all over the place? Only entrepreneurs, people who are part of other businesses but are responsible for growing their own like book or something like that?
That's a great question. So there are a couple of requirements. One of them is we're looking for the person who signs the check. We're looking for I own my small business and I'm trying to grow it. When you open the door to I'm the marketing representative for the thing, well, they're not operating under the same set of pressures and decisions and lifestyle that someone that's opening their own agency has to go through. Because when you run your own thing, you have to make decisions in a different way than someone who works for someone else who gets a paycheck every 2 weeks. So you got to own your own thing. We find that it's primarily B2B companies. There are
Mhm.
some B2C, a few retailers, not many, but service providers really do well. Coaches, consultants, photographers, marketing agencies, branding specialists, website designers, graphic designers, people that are knowledge workers that are doing B2B business. They're the ones that really do well. And then as far as the level of business, we're one click beyond startup.
Mhm.
The reason why is that we can help someone start a business, and sometimes we do. But the people that get the most out of it are the people that have gone out and done networking and they realize, wait, I tried a bunch of places and it didn't feel right. People were trying to harvest from me, people were trying to take from me. They're the ones that realize the difference of the community because we're different than a network and people have to kind of try the other things first, or at least the most successful members have tried the other things first. So then they come to us and they're like, oh, this is so different. This is not what I expected. So those are some of the things that make an idea collective member, but we're open to all and welcoming to all. But those are like the ones that really do well as soon as they get in there.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean by the harvesting part when you go to a networking event. Absolutely understand what that means. And it is the atmosphere is entirely different walking into a normal I don't want to call out anything, but maybe like a chamber or something like that networking event where you go there, it's a bunch of strangers. Everybody's there with the same purpose is to gather as much as they possibly can to go home and try and sell with. Here it's not very much like that. It's here, I'm going to bring my problems, my issues, the burden on my back, and I'm going to go and talk to other people who are sharing those same burdens. And then we're all going to leave just a little bit lighter than we came.
And you know what's so great about that is you're exactly right. And the people that get the most out of our community,
Yeah.
most out of our meetings, are the people that are serving other people. I have a problem. I need it fixed. They stand up in our signature meeting called an idea slam and they ask for feedback. Okay, that's cool. We help them. But the people in the crowd, the ones that are giving the feedback, or maybe not even participating at all, they're just listening, they're the ones that consistently leave the room saying, I didn't know about that thing that Adam was asking about, but I'm really glad I heard that discussion because I need to go look into that for my business. It is an infectious environment of collaboration, and it allows us to explore areas of the business that maybe we weren't thinking about or didn't even know to think about. So it creates a space for giving and taking in a way that doesn't feel slimy. And we've been very fortunate to have the community members that are giving us that kind of energy and participating.
Yeah, absolutely, and kind of slimy. That's funny. But no, that's the exact right way to put it. Absolutely is. And I feel like I have joined those things in person and virtual, especially in 2020 and early 21. A lot of it was virtual, and it was nobody really came there with a purpose other than seeing what they could get out of it. And then you just the whole atmosphere is kind of dull, and it does not promote an environment of learning, of wanting to grow and with these people and stuff like that. And I find that it's very different with the idea collectives and the community that you've personally built. And I think that's awesome. And I just want to say thanks for putting that all together several years ago, when I joined it. And although my insurance agency isn't sure, I was that statistic, 5 years, business fails, it happened, but I'm not the only person, it is a statistic for the reason, but I didn't give up. I gotta, I'm moving on, new projects, new goals, stuff like that. And I absolutely intend to lean on the small business idea collective for moral support, motivation, and stuff like that, for sure. As far as the idea collective, or just you personally, are there any future projects that you're working on? Anything that you're looking to break into in the next year or so?
We mentioned the conference in October, so we're
Mhm.
working on that. We're also going to do a digital summit in May. So we've got a couple of big events that are happening in 24. The other thing that we're working on is we are lighting up local networking groups on top of the digital platform. There are people that are in the community that crave the in-person connection, and we've earned enough members in certain cities that we can now have in-person networking and an idea slam as a standalone event once a month. And all of those folks can also opt into the nationwide digital community as well. So we now have a group in Madison. We have a group in Milwaukee. We're working on a group in Kenosha. So we're starting to stand up these in-person networking events on top of the digital community. So that way we can have the best of both worlds with all roads leading to the annual convention in Milwaukee. So that's the big project for 24 is to go to our members and say who wants to lead their own local group that wants to live out the ethos of the Idea Collective and wants to serve entrepreneurs in a way that we do online so we can meet more people and impact more businesses because ultimately that's the goal. My mission is summarized as serving small business owners at scale. That's what I want to do. And the community is the place where we can bring people together and help their businesses survive and thrive. That's what it's all about.
That's absolutely wonderful. So you said Madison, Milwaukee, and Kenosha are the three cities currently that you have the foundations for these essentially these networking group. Now, are you going to name them something differently? Are you going to call them all like idea slams, or is it you still working on that part?
Well, we are working on it in
Sure.
in real time. We just had our first Kenosha meeting last night. And what's great is we bring people together and we go through what we call the IC3. We break up into pairs and we answer three questions. What are you grateful for today? Name a recent win. And what's one thing the community can do to help you with? Those three things are all by design. If we start with gratitude, we get in the right frame of mind. If we celebrate a recent win, we realize that not everything in the business is terrible. There are good things happening. And then the third thing, and this is the most important one, What's something we can do to help you? When you walk into a room thinking you've got it all figured out, when you think you're the smartest person on the planet, you forget how others around you want to support you and want to lift you up. And there is a culture around small business and business in general that we have to put on this face that we've got it all figured out. You would never see someone, or you rarely see someone go on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, I'm not an expert." You know what? There's a lot of stuff we're not an expert in, but we got to figure it out to get paid. So we want to normalize asking for help and make it a part of the community. So we do the IC3, we do some networking, and then we do the Idea Slam brainstorming session. And it makes for a really cool 90 minutes of getting to know people, exploring our creativity, building relationships. And yeah, we're working on the naming and how it all works, but we just got done with Kenosha as our first meeting last night, and it went great. Had 18 people there and met some new folks, and it was great.
Awesome. Yeah. Another member that I had spoke with last week, she had mentioned that you guys were doing a Kenosha meetup last night and invited me to it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. Otherwise, I would have gone. I would have been there. Other priorities and junk. Yeah. If there's going to be more of those in the near future, I'm right between Kenosha and Milwaukee, so I'll try and hop into every one I can for sure.
Heck yeah.
And also just promote it as much as I can, specifically to those who are, the owners of their own business and those who are at that step where they're looking to just pop into the next level of growth, essentially.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly who it is. And we're working on these meetings once a month in each one of the cities. So once we get a chapter up and running, we're going to have them meet monthly to supplement everything that we're already doing online.
Sure. I love that. Now, are you, I guess one of the other larger networking groups similar to that I'm aware of, at least, would be comparable to like a BNI group or something like that. Are you planning on running these things like a BNI group, or is it going to be a little more casual, less expensive sort of thing like that? Like, what do you have a plan in comparing it to a BNI group?
Yeah. BNI groups are incredibly successful. It seems as though they have a different objective inside their meetings where they're, "Hey, I'm looking for referrals. Let's make sure it's an economy of referrals. Let's all get together and let's make sure that we're referring business to one another." That's not really what we do. Our in-person networking events are free, and they're free on purpose because I want people to experience the Idea Collective and make the choice for themselves. Are we the group for you? In fact, inside the community now, the way that we welcome potential new members is we have a 2-week free trial challenge. So let's say you had never been a member before. I'll give you 2 weeks in the community and challenge you to complete 4 things: update your profile, comment in the feed, attend an Idea Slam, and have a one-on-one with a member. You don't meet with me, you meet with them because it's about them anyway. At the end of the 2 weeks, if you've completed the 4 things, we'll simply say, "Have you found your people? Is this a group for you?" And if it is, we'll send you an invitation to join. If it's not, we'll shake hands. I'll wish you well, and you'll move along and find another group. But we do that because we want people to know that this is the right community for them. So the in-person events, they're free on purpose because I believe when someone experiences the Idea Slam and the fact that community is greater than network, they'll go, "Oh, I get it now." And then they'll want to join. So that's kind of how we're going about membership. And as far as price is concerned, the community is currently priced at $57 a month. So it's not some 6-figure investment that you have to wonder, should I eat or join a community? No, this
Yeah.
is something that every scaling small business owner can afford that will plug a hole in their business and their support system that's most likely there.
Like you said, you might not be an expert on everything, trying to become an expert on one thing, but then surrounding yourselves with experts on every other topic around. It's only going to strengthen everything you have to offer your clients and what your business is, for sure. Do you have a specific location where you're hosting these, or is that sort of revolving as well? Maybe members that own their own spaces, is that a priority, or how do you have that going?
That's a great question. In Milwaukee, we partner primarily with Bank 59, fantastic
Hmm.
partner of ours. So we're hosting our events inside their branches. So the last one we did in Brookfield was inside one of their bank branches. In fact, yesterday in Kenosha was in their mortgage lending branch down in Kenosha,
Okay.
down right against the lake. It was beautiful. Scott was a great host. And then in Madison, we're finding a home. So we're looking for someone to be our home in Madison to bring all the small business owners together. So we don't have a unified place across all of our markets yet, but it's really early in the game, and it's something we're definitely looking to build.
Speaking of Bang 59 and Quick Trip, the Idea Collective have gained some sponsorships of local, I don't know, local businesses, but large businesses that are prevalent in the area. How did that happen? Is that just through conversation, through just natural growth?
Great question. Bank 59 and I were partners back when I was at WTMJ. So when I was at TMJ and KTI, their VP of marketing and I worked together very closely on some major projects. When I left, I kept up relations with him. And then when I launched the Idea Collective, Bank 59's mission is to make lives better. And when I made the case to them that we're doing this thing to help small business owners survive during the pandemic, they were right there. They sponsored the community for the first 2 years. They've been the title sponsor for our conference the last 3 years. They have been, I mean, their CEO came to the conference the last 2 years. I can't say enough about them. They are the real deal, and they've been fantastic. Quick Trip, Mark Meisner, the VP of marketing for Quick Trip, he and I worked together at WTMJ back in the day. And similar story. When I launched the collective, I reconnected with Mark, and Quick Trip believes in what we're doing and they want to see a healthy Wisconsin economy, obviously. So they've been with us now for years and years and been a terrific supporter. So the idea of supporting small business is something that so many businesses want to get behind. But the challenge is it's really hard. Where do you go to find a bunch of small business owners? That's sometimes not as easy as it sounds. So the community, by bringing people together and then giving brands like Quick Trip and Bank 59 the opportunity to lean in and support the local economy has been something that's really worked for us. So I can't say enough about those two companies. They have been lights out for us since day one.
Are there, I don't know if there's any hush hush stuff, but is there any future sponsorship partnerships that you're looking forward to, or maybe that would just like to have in the future?
Yeah, I want to build some partnerships around the May Digital Summit that we're putting together. So whenever I do an event, because I'm a radio guy, halftime built by the Home Depot, everything gets a sponsor, right? You got to do that.
Yeah.
So we're building some sponsorship packages for this digital summit that we're doing on May 1st. And then our 24 conference, which is going to go downtown and be, fingers crossed, significant. We have sponsorship partnerships available there to get tickets sold, to have the name on the conference, to have events at the conference. Those are two things that we're building. It's just, we're just really fortunate to have the sponsors that we've had and the opportunity to tie partners in with the programs that we're doing. It's the type of thing that helps us keep the lights on around here because you're looking at the entire employee count of the Idea Collective right here. So having our sponsor partners allows us to bring in some contractors and admins and some VAs to help us have an outsized impact for our members.
Absolutely, you can't do everything by yourself. That's for sure. You wouldn't get anything done. Yeah, but that's great. I'm glad that you're able to build a team and have the support you have to just help support so many other people. And one thing I love most about the Idea Collective and just everything that you've done here with this community is that it doesn't feel like I'm being. I don't feel like prey to a larger predator kind of thing. As a small business owner, I don't feel that's just the best way I feel like I could put it whenever I'm involved in these events or speaking with another member. It is definitely like, oh, okay, let, let me put my ego aside and my issues and my wants and needs. How can I help you, sort of thing? And just that sort of mentality, that atmosphere, it just does so much to an individual, and allows them that safe space to be like, okay, here's my issues. I need to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable when you're a business owner. I feel like in order to really build those barriers of the issues and then move on to the next one, kind of thing. And having that sort of mentality, that safe space, just allows you to be vulnerable with each other, and that's how I feel like you walk away with a less burden than you came in.
That definitely is the result. And that's because of the nature of community. We talked about the difference between community and network. The difference between audience and community is another distinction. And maybe that's why it doesn't feel like you're getting preyed upon. There are many communities that are led by thought leaders, content creators, or coaches, consultants, and their community is designed to get people in a room so they can sell them stuff. Really, that's not my MO. People pay to be in the community. That's how I get paid. Great. But it's their community. So when you're talking with a member, you're talking with someone about their thing, not necessarily my thing. And
Mhm.
it's that kind of distinction that it's a community, not an audience, gives the people in the group a lot of ownership, which means They're on the lookout for people that are slinging business cards and trying to be bad actors. They're on the lookout for lifting people up when they're down because they want that to happen in the group that they're curating as well. So that is a compliment to the people in the group. And it's something that they do a really great job of. And look, I mean, we're 3.5 years into this thing. All of this is because people have shared the vision and done the work to build a community that they want to be in. And I just am so fortunate for that because we're now just getting to the stage where this thing could like really goes, like really go. And it wouldn't be possible without all of our early adopter members, including you, that helped us get off of zero to where we are right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to have been a part of it and any sort of assistance I've given over the years. That's great. I'm excited for when you have your first Illinois branch, your Illinois meeting, your Minnesota meeting, and we start opening up to other states and people seeing the actual like the real benefit of this community versus a network versus an audience kind of thing, like you said. And that's going to be great when more people are introduced to what you've built here. And that's really awesome. Thank you. So kind of wrapping it up here a little bit, who would be now, I know you mentioned, people who write the checks of your bit of the business, people who are entirely responsible for whether the lights stay on and stuff like that. So those are the people that you feel might benefit the most from joining the community itself. Is there anyone that you personally would benefit from an introduction to, whether it's a marketing person or a CEO of a company or anybody who just has a network themselves?
I'll tell you who I want to reach out to because it's from a personal story. When I was at the radio station, my wife, who's a photographer, started her business. In the first year of running her business, she had one older gentleman tell her, "You're never going to make it. Don't try." She had a coach try and coach her out of running her own business to become one of those, on the beach kind of check receiving CEOs. And she didn't get the support or the resources that she needed to succeed. She almost quit. If I wasn't here, she would have quit, not because of me, but because I was here to kind of backstop her. You know what I mean? Right now, there's someone that's watching this that feels like I have to make it in 24 or else. And the groups that I'm in right now, they really don't have my back. And I'm doing stuff that I don't know how to do. And I'm frustrated. And why does this have to be so hard? Those are the people that I want introductions to. Because if you've got the guts to launch your own small business and to have a dream, not a job, there's something that you want to see come true and you need support to get there. Those are the people that I want in the community. Because if they look at it that way and they know how precious and important this risk is that they're taking, they would reflect that back to the other members as well. So everyone that's watching this knows someone that could have a benefit of a community around them. Those are the intros that I'm looking for because CEOs and folks with audiences and sponsors for the conference, of course, yes. Oh my God, I would love that stuff. But the stuff that gets me really excited is when I get an email from someone in the community that says, I was going to quit and the community had my back and I didn't. Or I wasn't going to take this risk and you guys pushed me and it worked and look at me now. Those are the stories. And that's the reason why I'm doing it. Because just like you, if I wanted a job, I'd go work for someone else. I don't want a job. I want to support small business owners because what they're doing is incredible. And if you look around, there's not a lot of people doing it. So we have to build the support system that we want. So if you know a small business owner that really wants to make it big in 24 and have a community around them, those are the introductions that I would love to have.
Perfect. Absolutely. A couple names come to mind right away, but yeah, that's absolutely perfect. And then as far as reaching out to you, where is the best way to find you to reach out?
Yeah, go to our website, smallbusinesscommunity.com. Go to that website. You'll see everything that we're up to. You can see a little bit about the events and my speaking and the community, and everything's all wrapped up at smallbusinesscommunity.com.
Smallbusinesscommunity.com. Absolutely. I'll make sure to include a link to that too in the description thingy of the thingy here. Well, I it's been, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so. I don't remember. It's just time flies. It's been a great conversation. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to just chat with me about this. And hopefully we're able to share the idea collective community with everybody who needs to hear it. Like you said, who's thinking about quitting. doesn't know if they want to start yet, absolutely. And this is one of those places that's going to help settle that, whether, okay, maybe this isn't for me after talking to all these people. It's not that you have to do it. It's just something that helps you think a little bit clearly, pros and cons with people who have experienced the things you're afraid of, essentially. And so absolutely, I'm really excited for this to grow. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for sharing the message. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Pat Miller from the Idea Collective. Go to smallbusinesscommunity.com, check out what he's built, and see if that community is right for you. I hope you took away something from today's episode. As always, thank you so much for listening. See you next time.